Welcome to the NZ Travel Show, an interactive show where you can ask your NZ travel questions to the experts behind nzpocketguide.com, New Zealand's largest travel guide. The NZ Travel Show will start in exactly 2 minutes. Just the time for you to hit the like button, ring the notification bell, and subscribe if you have not done so yet. NZPocketGuide.com has over 3,000 articles covering all aspects of travelling in New Zealand, from a working holiday gap year to tips for a perfect family holiday. The site also features dozens of pre-made itineraries that you can use to plan your ideal trip in New Zealand. It's all available for free at nzpocketguide.com, so check it out. The NZ Travel Show is hosted by Robin, the Operations Manager of South Pacific Pocket Guide, the company behind nzpocketguide.com. The New Zealand Travel Show is also hosted by Laura, a journalist and editor-in-chief of South Pacific Pocket Guide and all its publications, including nzpocketguide.com. We're exactly 1 minute away from the NZ Travel Show. Get yourself comfortable and start asking your NZ travel questions in the chat. Robin and Laura will go over them when the show starts. In 30 seconds, our expert from New Zealand to give you all the practical New Zealand travel tips you need, from the best transport options to the best accommodations and activities to choose for the perfect New Zealand holiday. Live from New Zealand, this is the NZ Travel Show with your travel experts, Robin and Laura.
That's right, everybody. We are here live for you. It is Sunday, the 16th of April, 2023. I almost forgot the month right here. It is 8 a.m. right here in New Zealand, and we are here to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand, because this is the NZ Travel Show. All right, Laura, how are we doing today?
We're doing great. How are we?
Doing really awesome, thank you. Okay, Nathan's here already,
Woo.
bright and early. He wasn't there last week.
Yeah, Nathan says, Morena, Robin and Laura. What does Morena mean, Robin?
Morena means good morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous language here in New Zealand.
He also says, and everyone. Sorry that I wasn't here last Sunday because it was tricky with the time in Aussie. I don't think that's not a problem, Nathan. You enjoy your Aussie holiday, and I'm glad you're back with us this week, though.
Yeah. Speaking of being back, Beverly is here in New Zealand. Beverly is one of our lovely Patreon supporters. She arrived in New Zealand this week, very early in the week, and so we want to welcome her to New Zealand. So welcome, Beverly.
Yeah.
I hope you have a blast. We already seen a few of your photos in our Facebook group. That's really awesome. Glad to have you in the country.
Absolutely. We also have Kiwi Lauren here saying, wish I could stop to chat, but I have a taekwondo tournament with the kiddo.
Okay.
77 days until I fly to New Zealand. We have a gold medal today in patterns and now about to do a sparring competition. Woohoo! Have a great day, my Kiwi friends. Wow, sounds like you have an epic day ahead, Kiwi Lauren.
Yeah.
Good luck with the kiddo doing his taekwondo.
Oh, I thought she was beating up kids. I thought she was doing taekwondo on the kids.
I mean, maybe I should assume that it is the child doing the taekwondo.
Kiwi Lauren is taking on some kiddos. It's got taekwondos.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, what happens in Canada stays in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. So, as per every week, we do have a bit of a theme. And so this week, we do have a theme which is a bit of a continuation from last week. So let's go over it.
What is the theme of the week, Robin?
I am glad that you ask. So everybody, no more excuses. You are going to be hiking. You are going to be experiencing the great outdoor of the South Island of New Zealand during your holiday. We have prepared a long list of amazing hikes and walks to do on the South Island that will take you from the deep rainforest of the Fiordland National Park to the top of the mountains in the Southern Alps, and we're going to cover all level of fitness, all length of hikes, so plenty of inspiration for you to be able to experience the best that New Zealand has to offer. And so yeah, we're going to go over all that this week. Fun times.
Yeah, it is fun times. And we have a question saying, for the best hikes and walks, should I stay in the North or South Island? So that's from Borami.
So Borami, honestly, there are epic walks on both the North Island and the South Island, to be quite honest, right? Last week, we have talked about a lot of different hikes on the North Island of New Zealand, and if you rewatch this video, you'll discover that there is really a lot of absolutely fabulous walks. And so yeah, if you want a little bit more like images and everything, you can click in the description of all of our videos. We actually put a link to that list with photos and more information. But yeah, both the North Island and the South Island have heaps of walks available. Now, admittedly, I personally believe that the sceneries and the grandeur is usually a little better on the South Island. It tends to be more of the hiker's kind of paradise. So more of the answer, we usually lean toward the South Island. But if you're just coming to New Zealand for a bit of a holiday, you'll find your paradise on both the North Island and the South Island. You'll find a fantastic array of walks on both the North Island and the South Island, in my humble opinion. Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree. I believe that the South Island does.
Correct. There you go.
Are we back? Are we back, guys? Sorry for that rude interruption there from our streaming software. As we were saying, yes, we do believe like the South Island has more variety in terms of hikes, and it tends to be the slightly better island for hiking in New Zealand. But as Robin says, the North Island has still got amazing hikes, especially in terms of volcano hikes, which they have the North Island has that the South Island doesn't have so much. So
there'll be really different type of hike that you will get. You know, like on the North Island, you can get sand dune hikes, you can get volcanic hikes. So on the South Island, you will get like more like deep rainforest, Southern Alps, like very mountainous, right?
Yes.
So yeah, they'll be slightly different. But that said, you can find mountain in Taranaki on the North Island, and on the west coast of the South Island, you know, near the Haast area, you'll find some great sand dunes as well. So you know, there is always something to dabble in for you, Borami.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Nathan says, when I was coming home from Brisbane to Auckland, I almost missed my flight from Auckland to Rotorua because it was such a long walk from international to domestic. That is probably the shortest walk that we're going to be talking about during our hikes. Let's be honest. It's not that long of a walk, Nathan. But yeah, no, I do.
I suppose when you're cutting it quite fine between flights, it is quite like, oh gosh.
And quite often you kind of think, oh yeah, it's the same building, it's the same airport, you'll be fine. But no, there is a bit of a...
It's a little bit of a walk.
Yeah. Fabio is here saying there is some major buffering issues. I hope that is now resolved. Let us know, guys, if this is resolved or not. OBS or streaming software just kind of disconnected for a little bit just for the fun and giggles.
Yeah, you know, just like usually once per live show that we do, there's
usually
a
bug,
some sort of technical issue. But you know, that's just the way it is.
Okay, all right, Laura, shall we begin a little bit with some maybe about the 5 first hikes that you have on top of your mind on the South Island of New Zealand?
Let's go.
All right, Laura, get us going.
All right, first off, let's talk about a nice, short, easy walk to Castle Hill, or the official name is the Kura Tawhiti Access Track. And this is to some amazing boulders, some sort of these huge rocks that are sticking out of the green landscape. And it's just a really sort of obscure and different landscape to check out on a short walk.
So this walk is only about 20 minutes one way, so that's 40 minutes both way. The distance is 1.4 kilometers, which is 0.9 miles. And it's obviously in Castle Hill, as Laura said, in the Canterbury region of the South Island of New Zealand.
Moving on to a much longer walk, more of a 5-day, multi-day hike. This is the St. James Walkway, which is located in the Lewis Pass near Hanmer Springs. And if you're looking for, you know, that multi-day hiking experience, but it's not too challenging, it's mostly flat, easy terrain to follow, then this is a really good hike for you.
So as Laura mentioned, that's the first multi-day hike we're going to be mentioning today. So this is about 5 days, distance of 66 kilometers, which is 41 miles. And it's in the Lewis Pass in Canterbury yet again.
Next up, we have the Pelorus bridge tracks. So if you want to check out some scenery that was used in the Hobbit trilogy that was filmed in New Zealand, then the Pelorus River is where a lot of that was filmed. And there's some really short walks where you can enjoy some really amazing scenery. Or if you just want to spend the whole day there, then you can do a multi-hour hike there as well.
So there is a lot of different walks there, as Loas mentioned. So it ranges from about 45 minutes to 4 hours return. So you got really all kind of distances between 1.7 kilometers, which is 1 mile, to 14 kilometers, which is 8.7 miles. And the best place for you to get started is in the small township of Havelock, which is in Marlborough.
Next up, we have a very famous walk on the South Island, which is the Roy's Peak Track. This is located near the town of Wanaka, although you'll need to get a shuttle or your own transport to get there. And it's pretty much a full day hike, 5 to 6 hours return, mostly starting off going on farmland, and then at the end of the walk is the view opens up onto this amazing lake and mountain scenery.
All right, and so that length of walk is about 5 to 6 hours return, depending on how good you are going uphill really early morning to catch that beautiful sunrise. The distance is 16 kilometers, which is 9.9 miles, so 10 miles basically. And as Laura said, it starts in Wanaka. All right, number 5, Laura.
And going back to some shorter walks that you can do as you're making your way down the west coast of the South Island. And this is the Ship Creek walks. So a really good walk there is along the boardwalks where you can go over sand dunes, get some really amazing coastal scenery. There's also a little bit of a tower that you can climb up a ladder and get the views up this sort of in this lookout as well, which is quite cool.
All right, so 20 minutes, half an hour maximum return, 800 meters long, so it's 875 yards. And yeah, it's in Haast in the west coast. All right, so Fabio is quite surprised that somebody is taking a flight from Rotorua to Auckland. Yes, a lot of people that don't drive themselves take the flight, as well as sometimes, just leaving your car at the airport can cost a lot of money and have a bit of problem. That's not really what we do. We do tend to take the car to get there, but some people do it in that way. That has known to be done.
Yeah.
And
there's also the option to take the intercity bus as well, but sometimes the times doesn't fit in correctly with your flight. Go on,
and also and also sometimes when you actually do book a holiday with a travel agent, they really try to push kind of booking as many flights as possible, because that's where they put their margins. They make
that's
you
where
fly
the money is.
Yeah, they put their flight from like kind of everywhere they can kind of often. So yeah, that does happen. All right, we've got a massive amount of 2 viewers right now. How fun!
Whoop, whoop.
So yeah, what we'll do, we'll check in with Armand. So who is Armand? Armand is a French backpacker that is traveling around New Zealand on a working holiday visa, and yeah, he's exploring everything that New Zealand has to offer, and even goes, in other parts of the world at times. He just does like to keep us on our toes.
Jet setter he is.
Yeah, he's a jet setter indeed. And so yeah, this is week 27 of his working holiday in New Zealand. So let's check out what he was up to, and we'll get back to you guys in less than 3 minutes.
Kia ora YouTube, this is Armand reporting on the 27th week of my working holiday in New Zealand from Auckland CBD in Albert Park. So as you know, last week I did the Tongariro crossing, and it was one of the best hikes I've ever done. The views were amazing, and in fact I took the opportunity to take some nice landscape shots, and it was very pleasant. I was chatting with my German friend most of the time, which made the distances seem much smaller, and yeah, it was breathtaking. I highly recommend this. It might be in fact the best thing I did during my Kiwi experience journey. I will at some point make a ranking of all the experiences, in my humble opinion, of course. That aside, in the hostel in which I'm staying, I met a very nice guy. He's become a very good friend of mine. His name is Victor, and we went to a techno party, and it was my first time actually going to a techno party. It was really fun. I like the music, although it is not really my favorite genre, but it was really nice. We also went to Mission Bay with my friends, where I took some nice sunset photos, and my friend Victor took some portrait shots of me, which I really like. He's a heck of a photographer, shout out to him. Then I did go actually to Auckland Museum for the third time, I believe, because the last time I went there, they only had one T-Rex skeleton, but now Pete has been joined by Barbara as he was feeling a bit lonely, and I believe it's the first time ever that we have two T-Rex skeletons side by side in the same place. And what else? I think that's pretty much it for this week, folks. I am preparing my trip to South Korea and Japan, so the content of the following weeks will be significantly different, as it is a very different environment and culture, obviously. So until next week, guys, cheers.
It was there. All right, Laura, how do you think? I did click on it.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
all
We've
right.
got sound now.
So, what do we think about his hiking shoes and outfit?
Yeah, great. Not usually what I recommend for the Tongariro crossing. Jeans and Converse are usually not great attire,
No.
just in case the weather is real bad, and it kind of, I don't know, Converse could give you blisters and stuff on the way there, but he seemed fine. So
Yeah, it seemed like it worked
you
for
know,
him.
choose what you want to wear at your own
Shoes.
risk. Choose what you want to wear.
Wow, that's funny.
So yeah, that's the
Jokes.
first thing to address. So he says Violet Zulu says no volume. Can you hear
Yeah, no,
us
they
now,
can now.
guys?
Yeah, they have.
Okay,
It's
cool.
back on.
Cool.
Can you still hear us, right? You can hear us?
Yeah, let us know
Yeah.
if you can hear us.
Yeah, tell us if it's been fixed. It has to be fixed. It is fixed.
Yeah, cool.
nice.
Anything else you'd like to address with?
Yeah, I want to say hi to Machua X, which is here saying
Yeah.
more arena. Thank you very much for sharing all those awesome photos of the night luge, mate. That was really awesome. So Machua X is one of our Patreon supporter, and therefore he has access to our secret Facebook group where we share about traveling in New Zealand and all that. And yeah, they went to the luge in Rotorua and shared some cool photos. That was fun. Violet Zulu is here from South
Yeah,
Africa.
nice to
saying
see you
good
again.
morning. How are you doing, Violet? And she even said, thanks for fixing the sound. Yeah, no, I did press on the button. It just didn't record for some reason. It's a crappy little button right here. What is Fabio saying?
Fabio says the Dock Wardens will kill you if they see you with jeans.
They probably wouldn't kill you, but they'd definitely shrug very sternly.
Tut, tut, tut.
Yeah, they'd be like...
They wag their finger at you.
Yeah. But no, they won't really kill you. They just be like, oh, damn it, another tourist.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, that's not the advice that we give on the site, but you know, we advise you to kind of get prepared. We do have plenty of amazing videos here to help you get prepared, and with a lot of tips for the crossing, so you may want to check out those videos or head to NZ Pocket Guide, where we do have full guides there, just making sure that you are not hiking in Converse and jeans. Aside from that, that's pretty cool. You know, a techno party was fun. Second
Yeah.
T-Rex in Auckland, that's always cool. Mission Bay photos were pretty nice. So yeah, I did like it.
Great. Another epic week in New Zealand,
Nice.
as is every week
Yeah.
in New Zealand.
Yeah. And yeah, so next week he's still going to report, except that he's going to be from Seoul, South Korea. So that's
It
gonna
probably
be very
won't be as
different.
epic, guys.
So
We
yeah,
may be a little biased here.
that's going to be different, but I think that's going to be fun as well. I like the fact that we see some random different places from time to time. It's
Yeah.
cool. I think we may even see Greece at some point, so here you go. All right, Matthew X said, all good. It's the second time going to the luge. Nice one. So how many times did you race, and how many of those races did you win? That's the most important part.
Yeah.
While you are answering that question, though, let's go over 5 more hikes on the South Island that you should absolutely check out. Laura, get us started.
Yeah, so another one is to mention is a nice short one as well, and it's the Hokitika Gorge Walk. So this is mainly the main attraction of this is to see some super blue water traveling down a beautiful river gorge scenery. It's just a perfect photo stop, and it's only an hour of a loop walk, or you can make it shorter by simply going down to the gorge and returning back the same way. Very easy one to do as you're cruising down the west coast.
So as Laura mentioned, if you want to do the full loop, it's about an hour. However, if you just want to go check out one of the main viewpoints, which is just about like 5 minutes past the swing bridge, it will take you about 25 minutes to 30 minutes going back and forth, so you can make it quite short. Anyway, the full loop distance is 2 kilometers, which is 1.2 miles, and you get started at the township of Hokitika, fittingly enough, on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand.
Next up, we have the Humpridge Track, which is a multi-day hike, and this one is actually teed up to be one of the next great walks of New Zealand. So yeah, it is located at the bottom of the South Island in the Fiordland National Park, and features some beautiful coastal scenery, forest, a mix of lots of different sceneries, and yeah, it's an epic hike.
Alright, so this is a bird.
Whoopsie.
All right. So this hike is about 3 days long. It takes you through about 61 kilometers of track, which is 37.9 miles, and you get started in the township of Tuatapere, which is very small in the Southland region. Moving on,
we have Lake Matheson, which is a very nice, easy-going walk around a beautiful lake near Fox Glacier, where the water is super reflective. You get to see, on a clear day, the mountains reflecting off the lake as well. Beautiful rainforest as you're hiking through alongside the lake as well.
Okay, so the distance right here is 2.6 kilometers long, which is 1.6 miles. Doing both distances, sometimes I get confused. It will take you about an hour and a half to do the full loop, and yeah, you get started from the township, which is in Fox Glacier on the west coast, and we'll see more of this hike a little bit later in the video.
Next up, we have the Rakaya Gorge Track, which is in the Canterbury region, and this takes you along a beautiful, really milky blue river. There's lots of different things to see along the way. You can see sort of like the entrance of old mining shafts and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Go through a mix of forest, and if you want to spice up the hike a bit, you can basically go up the river on a jet boat one way and return by hiking the track the other way, which is a really cool way to do it, and we do have a video of us doing that on the channel.
Alright, so this is 3 to 4 hours return. As a walk, it's 10.4 kilometers long, which is 6.5 miles, and you start in the township of Methven, which is in the Canterbury region.
Next up, we have the Mula Hut Route, which is located in the Mount Cook National Park. It is a pretty steep hike to do. You are making your way quite high up into the mountains, but it is very rewarding as well. You get to see really some of the most dramatic mountainous scenery in New Zealand, so it's definitely worth doing if you've got the legs for it.
Alright, it's 4 hours one way, and it's a steep 5.2 kilometers and 3.2 miles. And the location for a start is Mount Cook, which is in Canterbury. All right, what do we have? Matthew X says 5 races and 5 times almost hitting someone that stops in the middle of the track.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but did you win or not against your mates? That's what's more important to me.
Maybe he doesn't want to say, Robin. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just
I want the
strategically
answer.
avoiding the question. But yeah, it's always tricky when there's like either kids or something just in front of you, or
Yeah.
someone stopped in the middle of the track, and you've got to do some crazy swerves around. It could get pretty crazy on the luge.
Violet says something quite nice.
She says, "Hi guys, I'm now based in New Zealand, based in Glenfield. I just want to thank you for giving me hope while I was in Africa. I just hope to meet you guys in person one day. God bless you abundantly."
Oh, that's lovely.
Nice.
We always like to meet our viewers. Beverly, which is one of our Patreons, she's organized a meetup because we help with the itinerary and everything. She organized a meetup with her. We probably will see her in a couple of weeks, I think. I can't remember when it is, but yeah. We organized. It's written somewhere in my agenda. So yeah, feel free to join us on Patreon, Violet. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but that's so cool that you're in New Zealand
Yeah,
now,
that's
and
awesome.
hopefully living the dream and living a good life. So yeah,
The Glenfield dream.
The Glenfield dream. So yeah, we wish you all the best.
Okay, so let's move on to this week's little snippet, since we just talked about
one of these hikes.
Did we?
Yes, we
we
did.
did. Yes. I got lost. I got almost lost. Let's move on to the quick snippet of this week. Boom. All right, everybody. We are going to go over a lovely little video together, and we'll tell you a little bit about how easy some of the hikes in New Zealand can be. Laura, take it away.
Yeah, so the one that we're looking at right here is the Lake Methven walk, which we just talked about. It is a very easy loop around a walkway, and what you'll around a lake, and what you'll find in New Zealand is a lot of the walks are very well formed. They're very well maintained. It's impossible to get lost a lot of the time. As you can see from the video, the trails are just like very smooth, and you don't have to be a hardcore hiker to enjoy them. And a lot of the time they take you to some very amazing sights and viewpoints. They'll usually take you to a certain attraction that you can just enjoy for free of charge. So yeah, that's one of the main, that's why we're always recommending to do hikes and walks in New Zealand. Even if you are a little bit intimidated by the word hiking or doing walks, it's really not as hardcore as a lot of people might think. You just have to have a look at some track descriptions and see what is involved, but a lot of the time they are very short walks and very easy to do.
Yeah, so we really often hear, especially from Americans, saying, oh, I can't do a hike, it's just too much, it's too strenuous and everything. But seriously, just look at what's on screen right now. It is seriously easy, very well marked. Obviously, that's not all the tracks in New Zealand. Usually when they're called trails or this kind of... or routes, usually they're a bit more intense. But when they're just called walks, it is pretty easy. So this one that we're looking at is the Lake Methven hike, and so yeah, even when you have the viewpoint, it's super well bordered. It's just very, very, very well maintained hikes and tracks. So just do make sure that you include some hikes on your itinerary.
Absolutely.
All right. We are back, and Matthew Hikes finally answered. 3 wins, 2 losses. Hey, you know what? That's very, very reasonable.
It's a good ratio.
That's a very good ratio. Because you also need to kind of, make sure that your friends have a couple of wins,
yeah,
so they're not too sour at the end of the day, right? So that's pretty good.
Very strategic amount of wins.
Yeah, I can see what you did. You still get the overall win of the day, but they still feel like they had a shot.
Social win as well.
Yes, they feel like they had a shot at beating you, and they may come with you next time because they do want to beat you. So I do think that's very, very wise what you did right here. Mm-hmm. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's usually what I do when I go to the luge.
Yes.
I let Robin win at least twice.
That's very nice. Yeah, she's nice like that.
Yeah.
All right. Should we do a few more hikes?
Absolutely.
All right, Laura, take it away.
All right. Next up on the South Island, we have the Opara Arch. That is a lot of rah-rahs, but the Opara Arch is an amazing but really underrated place to go experience some walks in New Zealand. It's located on the west coast, but really high up north on the west coast near Karamea, and the main attraction there is the Opara Arch itself, which is one of the largest limestone archways in Australasia. But there's also a lot of shorter tracks to do there as well, where you can see smaller caves.
All right, so this hike is about 2 kilometers long, which is 1.2 miles. And it will take you about 50 minutes, under an hour to kind of go there, come back, take a few photos and everything. And you will get started in Karamea, which is located on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand.
Next up, we have the Copland Track to Welcome Flat hot pools, which is located off the road near Fox Glacier. This is a bit of a long walk. Usually people do this as a sort of overnight trail sometimes, because there is a hut there that you can stay in overnight. Or if you are pretty hardcore, you can do it all in one day. But the main attraction for this is you're going into the mountains, and then towards the end, you come across some natural hot pools that you can bathe in.
And so that will take you about 7 hours one way. So if you want to do return, that's 14 hours, right? So keep that in mind. That's about 18 kilometers long, which is 11.2 miles. And yeah, as Laura said, it starts in beautiful Fox Glacier.
Next up, we have the Lake Rotoiti circuit, which is in the Nelson Lakes National Park. And Lake Rotoiti is the easiest of the Nelson Lakes to access, and this walk goes all the way around the lake. Really beautiful scenery with lots of forest, mountains, beautiful lake views, and it's a full day adventure. So yeah.
So Lake Rotoiti walks is quite long, as Laura was saying. So it will take you 7 to 10 hours. The distance is 23 kilometers. So that's 14.3 miles. And if you take the river crossing, so if you actually are able to cross that river, if you count, it's 31 kilometers long, which is 19.3 miles. And there is a swing bridge instead. You get started in St. Arnaud in Nelson.
Next up, we have a walk in Akaroa. This is the Children's Bay Walkway. And what's really cool about this walk is it's a little bit different. Although you are getting lots of amazing scenery of the Akaroa Harbour as you're hiking along, there's also a few artwork pieces to admire along the way, usually hiding in the bushes or hiding in the fields. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool hidden surprises. But if you want to spoil the surprise for yourself, then you can check out our video of the Children's Bay Walkway here on YouTube.
All right, so between an hour to 3 hours, depending how long you're making the walk for yourself, there is a lot of different length that you can be doing. But the main one is 2.4 kilometers, which is 1.5 miles. And as Laura said, you start in beautiful Akaroa.
Next up, we have the Mount Robert Circuit, which is another one in the beautiful Nelson Lakes National Park, mostly traversing around Lake Rotoiti again. So it's an alternative to the one that I just mentioned. But this one is, it's easier to do as a sort of half-day hike or full-day hike. So more beautiful lake and mountain scenery.
All right, so as Laura mentioned, this one will be way shorter. So that's about 5 hours return. So it's 5 hours in total getting back to your car. The distance is about 9 kilometers, which is 5.6 miles, and it's located in St. Arnaud on the south end of New Zealand. Okay, so Fabio says, what is your favorite short walk on the south end of New Zealand?
Short walk.
Short. Hokitika Gorge for me.
Ooh, yeah. I was going to say the Opara Arch.
Yeah, that's true. That's really awesome.
That area is amazing.
It's a short walk in itself, but it's very long to get there.
Get there, yeah. But there's so many different short walks just from that one area. You can go and see lots of different things. And if people had more time while traveling on the South Island, it is definitely worth the trip to go up there. But obviously you don't want to do just one short walk once you get there. You want to do them all.
Azewara says, bright sunshine here in Otago.
Ooh.
Awesome. Nice one. And says, what a good day. I hope that you guys are doing well. We're doing
We're
fabulous.
doing
So
great.
which Otago hike will you be doing? I have one in mind. Guess what?
Yeah.
Which Otago hike will you be doing today on this beautiful sunny Sunday? Let us know right now, Azewara. And
Yeah.
Fabio also says, what kind of gear do we need for each and every walk in New Zealand?
Well, first of all, he would say hiking boots.
Yes.
But we would just say just a good pair of walking shoes at least. Ideally
And
waterproof.
Water.
And
for
water,
sure.
yes. Take plenty of water with you on all walks. Anything hat? Oh, we're still listing some stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. I was just about to say hi. We will do another batch. I was just trying to finish drinking. Thank you
Sorry.
very much for putting me on the spot right now, Laura. You're proud of yourself, aren't you?
Didn't know where we were heading next there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Should we do 5 more hikes?
Seems to be what I'm leaning towards.
All right. Let's get you started with 5 more hikes on the south end of New Zealand that Laura enjoys.
Next up, we have the Queen Charlotte Track, which is a multi-day hike at the very top of the South Island. You can do this either as a mountain biking track, or you can do it on your own 2 feet. It's, like I say, multi-day, but instead of staying in the usual dock huts, you do have options to stay in actual resort accommodations, something a little bit, if you want to have more of a sort of fancier hiking experience, that is possible on this on the Charlotte Track, Queen Charlotte Track. So.
Yes, and you can hike it and bike it, and the time length is 3 to 5 days to do it. The distance is 71 kilometers, which is 44 miles, and yeah, you get started from Picton, then you take the boat to the actual start point, which is the historic Ship Cove Bay.
Cove.
All right, and next one, Laura.
Next up, we have the Hooker Valley Track. A
Pretty popular one.
very famous track. A lot of people do it. It's located in the beautiful Mount Cook National Park. And you get to see lots of beautiful mountain scenery, cross some cool swing bridges. And then at the end, the sort of spectacle is the beautiful Mula Glacier and a beautiful glacier lake.
3 hours return. The distance is 10 kilometers, which is about, I think it's about, I don't know this one, about 6 miles, we'll say. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
Mount Cook,
correct.
Canterbury.
Well done, Robin.
Moving on.
Next up, we have this is a pretty tough hike. This is Avalanche Peak. That is located in the Arthur's Pass National Park. It's called the Avalanche Peak Route, meaning that the trail is a little harder to follow. Usually they have marked poles that you basically need to travel from one pole to the other and see if you can see the next pole and head in that direction. This is a really steep track. You are getting ready basically for a 1,100 meter climb. That's 3,600 foot climb. But the views are amazing and rewarding if you are there on a clear day.
6 to 8 hours to do that epic climb, 6.4 kilometers, which is 4 miles. I know this one. Arthur Pass National Park is where you get started. Laura, what's next?
Next up, we have the Blue Pools Track. This is located in the Haast Pass when you're traveling between Haast on the west coast and Wanaka in the Otago region. And this is a nice short walk taking you to some beautiful, really crystal clear blue water in amazing River Gorge scenery with a cool swing bridge on the way.
Okay, so this one is 1 hour return, about 3 kilometers, which is about 2 miles, and you get started in Wanaka. It's just the easiest place to get started from, which is, in the South Island, obviously. Next up, we
have the Cape Foulwind Walkway, which is located in Westport on the west coast of the South Island. And the main feature of this walk is seeing a really cool and cute seal colony.
Very cute.
Very cute. There's also a lighthouse and lots of amazing coastal scenery. You can either do just a short section of the walk, but it is a one-way walk, so there's 2 car parks on either end.
All right, so it's 1 hour and 15 minutes long one way. So you've got to decide either you're traveling with 2 cars and you put 1 car in each end and you can make it just 1 hour and 15 minutes, or you've got to do the return one. So the distance is 3.4 kilometers, 2.1 miles, and the location, the best way to start from is Westport on the west coast.
Yeah.
Okay, we are up to 20 now. Wow, that's going up fast. I love it. Okay, so what do we have? Azewara say they will take a walk along the beach today. That's not bad.
Very nice.
Yes. Tunnel Beach, maybe, around Otago?
Yeah, that is one of the places in Otago, but it could be...
I think I was just thinking about which beach are really kind of striking.
Could be
right?
Oamaru or... what's that one with the little blue penguins? Timaru.
Yeah.
Timaru has a very nice beach, Caroline Bay. So, yeah.
Nice. Plenty of beach. We like it. Okay, Fabio says, which one of the South Island states, you mean region, right, is the best for easy hiking? Which one is the most difficult one? Ooh. Well, I think Fiordland would be a bit more of the most challenging one just because there is I think, more really hard hikes there, but let's say there's also where you can find the easiest one because they have prepared some, especially going down to Milford Sound. So I think that Fiordland is kind of like...
Also the issue with Fiordland is that first of all, it's so remote.
Yeah.
Second of all, the weather is so insane there. It's one of the wettest places on Earth, they say.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it challenging is the ever-changing weather. Yeah.
So that would be the thing that makes it challenging.
I'd say some of the easiest kind of places to hike, I think, would be found in Canterbury.
Yeah.
As in Canterbury, it's very flat. It's like the flattest part of New Zealand, right? So usually you'd find therefore a little easier hike, or maybe around the Marlborough region as well. But obviously it's kind of hard to kind of talk region-wide. You can always find a challenging hike and an easy hike in every region.
You can find variety everywhere.
Yeah. But Fabio last time was thinking about a hike that somebody told him on the South Islands, and was like, oh, was it this one? It was the Avalanche Peak.
Avalanche Peak was,
there you go.
He says it was one that the Kiwis told us about. They said it was the best day walk. Yeah, it is. It's definitely like really highly rated. If you can get there like in amazing weather, then you have amazing South Island mountains to just lap up, just take it all in.
So yeah, remember guys, you can ask us all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. This is what this live show is all about. So yeah, feel free to go nuts on that. Baby Burn says, what's up? And saying, nice summer you have there. Are we having a nice summer? Is it summer in New Zealand? Or is there something wrong right here?
Well, it's autumn at the moment,
It is
but
autumn.
actually the weather is kind of better than it was this summer. So yeah, we are kind of having a nice summer right now.
Yeah, we are enjoying ourselves for sure.
Yeah, it's actually, the weather is getting a bit chillier on a night though. Like
Yeah.
when we wake up in the morning, it is like you can feel that sort of crispy coldness now. But usually when it's a crispy cold night, during the day it's going to be super sunny, and the New Zealand sun can be pretty intense, so it does feel pretty hot during the day.
Oh, you cook in 10-15 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we're having lunch outside every day, and yeah, it is definitely very warm.
You usually have to duck for shade pretty quickly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube says that they inserted an ad for you. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. That tends to happen. It is what YouTube does. Yeah. So if you're watching this, this week and you're confused, I was talking about summer right here. Well, we are in the opposite hemisphere than most people in the world. So if you're from the US or from Europe, you are in the northern hemisphere, and we are located in the southern hemisphere. So our seasons are inverted. So when it is spring for you, we've got autumn. When it is winter for you, we've got summer, and so on. So yeah, usually it's kind of like the opposite season. So that's why you may have gotten a little bit confused.
Baby Burns has a good question.
Okay, serious question here.
Serious question, saying, hi guys, serious question here. As I come from a tropical country, went to New Zealand on a winter/rainy season, usually only wearing long john plus jeans, but it's getting wet easily during the hikes and it's chilly. What kind of bottom/trousers should I wear?
Well, so don't wear jeans, right? Jeans are made of cottons, so therefore, cotton without an S. Jeans is made of cotton, right? And so cotton is a fabric that will keep the moisture and get really cold. So that will actively make you colder. So wearing your jeans is actively making you colder than even not wearing them, right? So it's a pretty bad idea to wear jeans. So that's a very good point that you're making right here. So usually the long johns that you'll be wearing, make sure that they're not made of cottons, make sure that they're made of wool or any kind of thermal kind of material.
Yeah.
And so when you come down to what you wear, because you don't want to be running around New Zealand in your long johns, that would be a bit odd. It's usually those kind of hiking trousers that you can find in pretty much any outdoor or adventure shops. They're usually made of a synthetic material. It's a kind of plastic, right? But they're quick drying, so that means that when you get wet, first up they're water repellent, and then when it actually does get wet with a bit of wind, they dry much faster and they don't retain the humidity. You want something, well, weirdly enough, you want something relatively thin that will kind of not keep the moisture in, so therefore what keeps you warm is the long john underneath. So what those really thin kind of hiking pants do is that they keep the wind away, so you don't get the chill of the wind. Cotton doesn't do that. When you have wind and you're wearing jeans, it goes right through it and you can feel the wind, right, on your skin. So it's not great. So it keeps the wind away. It doesn't keep any of the moisture, and it repels most of the rain. So that's what you kind of see me wearing in most of the videos that we're showing. Actually, if I go back to the segments right here, I'm going to quickly transition to that. You can see me wearing, look at my
Hiking
tushy
pants,
right here.
yeah.
So yeah, look at my hiking tushy. So I'm wearing hiking pants right here, which is relatively thin and like they're all about the same colors.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of thing that we've been wearing even in like the direst of winter in New Zealand. So that's kind of what I would recommend wearing. But that's a very, very good question, Baby Burns, to ask. So yeah, invest in some good hiking pants. We do recommend some in the website. If you do need us to recommend some, just feel free to reach out. And even if you want to join us on Patreon, we always kind of like talk about those kind of things. We actually review some stuff. I was planning on reviewing hiking shirts. Actually, I have one right here, just behind at the ready. So that's, oh, nice, on the floor. I have one on the floor at the ready. Yeah, I'm going to go pick it up, Laura. You keep talking. Okay, Scott, I know.
Yeah, so, usually wearing some sort of outdoor gear for like your whole trip when you're traveling around New Zealand is usually what we end up doing, because it just ends up being suitable for any situation. It's not really a fashion show in New Zealand. Like, locals don't really dress for fashion. They usually dress for more practicality, even if some may disagree with me. But yeah, it's usually just the easiest way to go, and just wearing your walking shoes or hiking shoes for your whole trip is basically what Robin and I end up doing, because it's just easier instead of carrying separate shoes all the time and things. Just like,
I mean, I'm wearing a merino wool jumper right now. Laura is as well. You know, we always kind of wearing like hiking kind of material and everything. Anyway, I got to shed back. So what I was saying is that with the Patreons, we do an extra 1 hour live show every week, and at times I review some like items that you need to have when you travel. So we did travel towels. We did like the
water bladder,
sucky camelback. And so I'm supposed to do travel shirt at some point. It will happen. We just keep on getting distracted, which is fine.
There's a lot to talk about.
I know. Beverly's in New Zealand. It's pretty exciting. So Fabio says, which company that provide hiking gear is the most prominent one in New Zealand? I'd say it will be like Kathmandu and Macpac. It will be like kind of like the two ones which are going to be the most prominent ones in the country. I wouldn't say like they're the best one that have the best quality gears and everything. Companies like Torpedo 7, they will carry things which are not their own brands and have like some really
you'll still find cool things. So, maybe international brands like North Face, that sort of thing. Columbia. Like,
they will be in like stores like Torpedo 7.
They'll still be like out.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt quickly. Kathmandu and Macpac will only carry their own brands.
Yes.
Continue, sorry.
Yeah, and then when you're going to different outdoor stores like Torpedo 7, like, how do you pronounce it? Bivouac? Is it called?
Bivouac, yeah.
Bivouac as well. There's other stores which carry different sort of international hiking brands like Columbia, like North Face, and various different ones that I can't think of right now. But yeah, there's all those sort of, you do find international brands in New Zealand as well. That said, it's usually not the cheapest to buy in New Zealand. If you're coming from a country like the US, or if you're coming from somewhere in Europe where you often have access to those brands at a cheaper price, we typically recommend that you buy that overseas. If you are in a country where those sort of brands are cheaper, then do that overseas, because once you come to New Zealand, because New Zealand's so isolated, New Zealand has to export everything. Prices are more expensive when it comes to those sort of outdoor gear once you're in New Zealand.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree with that. And Fabio has a funny comment. He says, New Zealand, the country where all the Germans won't stick out because they're functional fashion. So no, that's true. Most of the Germans look like Kiwis, with the same kind of gears and everything like that. So
true.
Just make sure that you don't wear. Well, we showed the wrong example earlier in the video where we showed Armands doing the Tonga crossing with jeans, but that is not a good idea, and we don't recommend that at all. Just making it really clear for you. Baby Burns, that says, thank you, much love. Look at that. With
nice
emojis. These are our first emojis of the day. I think it's our first emojis of the days.
Oh, wow. We should do an award for that as well.
Oh, no, Violet. Violet was giving us a sunrise, but come on. Emojis, people. Emojis. Okay. So, oh, no, what is Fabio saying? Strange enough, most of the hiking gear is still produced in Europe and America. New Zealand has to import them. And that's why they're more expensive, right? We do import quite a lot of the gears. And even if it's not, if it's like New Zealand brand, like Kathmandu, right? They will import material from Europe. They will send it to China to put together, and then they will send it to New Zealand to sell, right? So that incurs a lot of different extra costs in shipping, especially since the market is much lower. We import much lower amount than what it would be for in Europe. Like you will have like brands like Decathlon and stuff like that in Europe that will import for the entire European market to one of their hub, and then they will distribute it all across Europe, and they will serve 20 different countries. While in New Zealand, if you import it to New Zealand, you serve one market of 4 million people. It is definitely, we don't get economy of scales in New Zealand, and this is why our gears tend to be vastly more expensive than it is overseas. So, and to be quite honest, like some of our gears, like even the hiking shirt that I have behind me, we get it from overseas. It's actually cheaper for us to get it from overseas and ship it to New Zealand than it is to get in New Zealand by a significant margin. So yeah, you've got to keep that in mind. Like in New Zealand, you just complement the thing that you completely forgot to get and that you're gonna regret not having.
Yeah.
You don't buy your whole set of
Hiking
gears.
gear,
You don't come to New Zealand and say, "Oh, I'm gonna equip myself when I come to New Zealand." Right? That's not what you should be doing.
No.
What you should be doing is like, "Oh, I really need a third hiking pants just because I don't get to do laundry as often as I thought I would be doing. So I may just invest in that in one extra hiking pants or something like that." You know, that's probably like the way you plan around and the way you shop around during your trip. I wouldn't just decide, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna come with an empty suitcase and
Yeah.
I'll kit myself up in New Zealand," unless you have an unlimited budget. At that point, good on you, mate. We need to
Yeah.
talk. No, but you know what I mean. Like,
Or you might be coming from a country that just doesn't sell like sort of warm hiking
I mean,
gear,
yeah, if
like-
you come from the middle of the Sahara Desert
Yeah.
and then that's just not available, then at that point, well, you know, suck
You
it
might
up
not
and you
have
can get
any
it in New
choice,
Zealand.
yeah.
That definitely may happen. Fabio says merino wool stuff is a little cheaper in New Zealand, I think. Yeah, I mean, there is some really good wool kind of items from other
Yeah.
companies that works very, very well, and that's vastly cheaper.
Yes.
But yes, merino wool tend to be a little cheaper in New Zealand, but it also really depends because you can get cheap merino wool in New Zealand for some items, but they will get the shorter thread one, the not as good quality, right? So if you do want to get a decent quality merino wool items like icebreaker and those kind of things, they are really expensive. While you can get decent quality other type of wool overseas and they work very well. So you know, it's there's the balance right here. And at some point you always have to suck it up and buy something expensive. It just happens, right? So it depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all about buying it when it's convenient for you to buy it, and that's fine. You'll pay the price as long as you don't buy it at the airport.
And
That's
yeah.
always the wrong choice. Buying something at the airport is always a no.
Yeah, for us, like, we are wearing like New Zealand brand merino wool clothing,
Yeah.
but it is stuff that also is actually quite expensive. You have to pay a bit more for, and we buy these knowing that we're gonna have them for a long time. We're going to wear them like
We'll
all
wear them
the
until they're
time
dead.
in New Zealand. But for people coming over for just a few weeks in New Zealand, then it probably makes more sense to buy something overseas rather than spending way too much on clothing that you might not end up wearing as much, you know, once you leave New Zealand as well.
Yeah, I just realized, speaking about that, those two jumpers that we're wearing right now are 7 years old. And we hope they're going to last for another, minus start getting a bit of a few holes right here. But yeah, we think they're going to make it another year and keep going. But yeah, that, you know, we try to get things, you know, to spend a little bit extra for something that we're going to keep for significantly longer.
Yeah.
Because it's also very easy to go fall down the pit of like, I'm going to buy the cheapest things available and that will last you for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not necessarily the best way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so should we talk about a couple of more walks, Laura?
Yes, I love talking about walks.
All right, Laura, get us started.
All right, next up we have a nice easy walk, which is the Milford Foreshore Walk. And if you want to basically get some amazing shots of Milford Sound, but maybe you don't want to take a cruise, then this is the good alternative to do.
And I would like to point out that it also gives you some really cool reflective kind of places to take your photos and everything. So it's not necessarily because you don't take the cruise, it's on top of taking the cruise. Because it's very, very short. It's 30-minute loop. And when we say 30-minute loop, you can do it in 15 very easily. 400 meters long for the whole walk. That's 437 yards only. So yeah, get in and do that.
And the next hike we have is a pretty hardcore hike to do in the similar area in the Fiordland National Park, which is the Humpridge Track. This is a multi-day hike going deep into the wilderness of the Fiordland National Park. It's a one-way track. So what a lot of people do is they go do the whole hike, which is very long just for a one-way hike, and then they take a helicopter out. But even hardcore people will then take the return journey of multiple days, which Robin will tell us how long that is now.
It is 4 to 5 days for the whole journey. It
One
is,
way.
Yep, 4 to 5 days one way. Yes, Laura. You're not on screen. I don't know why you keep screaming. We don't want to hear you scream. 56 kilometers long, which is 35-mile-ish, and it's in the Fiordland National Park.
Yeah, and Fabio is saying in the live chat that it's so cool. So yeah, it is a really cool hike. It is amazing wilderness hike, but it's one best left to like the serious hardcore hikers. Next up, we have something not quite so serious and hardcore, which is the centre of New Zealand. This is located in the city of Nelson. It's a very nice, easy, but uphill walk. It's mostly uphill, and taking you to the geographical centre of New Zealand.
Okay, so that is, as Laura's mentioned, a very easy walk. So 20 to 40 minutes one way, 800 meters uphill, 875 yards. It's in Nelson Tasman region. Next up, Laura.
Next up, we have the Ben Lomond Track, which is the sort of main hike, like actual sort of full day hike that you can find in the immediate Queenstown area. You start the hiking trail from the top of the gondola in Queenstown, and this will take you to see some amazing mountain scenery, the beautiful Lake Wakatipu, and get some awesome photos.
All right, so if you just do the Ben Lomond saddle, it will take you 3 to 4 hours one way. Or if you go all the way to the summit, that will take you 6 to 8 hours one way. The distance for the saddle alone is 11 kilometers, which is 6.8 miles. And as Laura mentioned, start in Queenstown. Next up,
we have the Kaikoura Peninsula Walkway. This is a good walk to see seals, and that's pretty much the main attraction of this walk. Very beautiful seal colonies, multiple seal colonies you can see along the way. Sometimes there's seals on the track, which you should keep your distance and, you know, walk around at a respectful distance as to not scare the seals. You can do a quick walk up to the first viewpoint, or you can do the complete loop around the Kaikoura Peninsula.
okay, and no joke, it can be a 5-minute walk depending on where you park. It can be a 5-minute walk, or it can be a 3-hour loop. So you get a wide range of distances right here between 200 meters, which is 218 yards, to 11.7 kilometers, which is 7.3 miles. I told you, big difference right here. And as Laura said, well, it's called the Kaikoura Peninsula Walkway, so it starts in Kaikoura. All right, so there is plenty more walk. There is actually 50 of them in the link in the description below, so check this one out, because yeah, we do like to have a lot of information written with photos of all those hikes and all that. So yeah, check that out if you want. So yeah, Fabio is really keen on the Holyford Track. It definitely looks like it's his favorite on the whole kind of breadth of the hike that we talked about.
Which does not surprise me, knowing what we know about Fabio.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I thought it may have been the Avalanche Peak, but yeah. Okay, Laura, we've done 25 walks right here on the South Island. Okay. Which one do you prefer? What's your favorite out of all the one we just mentioned? You need a quick recap. Do you need me to
No, I don't. No, I don't need a recap. I did mention the Opara Arches, which is, although they are really short walks, the sort of breadth of the amount of walks that you can do there, I just find that place so cool. It's such a hidden gem. So I would definitely want to put that high on the list, the Opara Arches.
So that's the one that you pick as your favorite?
I think so.
Yeah. I think mine, I will pick the Pelorus Bridge track, just because, well, first up, it's a very good segue for me to tell you that next week we're going to be talking about the best filming locations of New Zealand. Aha! And so this one will be on the list. Oh, and another thing I really like about it is because there is a lot of different walks, right? So you can do like from 45 minutes to 3 hours. So there's a lot of different kind of walks, viewpoints. You get native bush forest, you get this gorge, you get all the rocks, you can get close to the water, you can swim if you want to.
Yeah.
There's really a lot of like different stuff to do there, and you won't get bored. And after you've done the first one, which is like, oh, I'm just going to do the 45-minute one, you kind of like, I really enjoy it. Do another one, which is an hour. It's going to be really quick. And I think I really do like the variety that this one spot offers, and there's some which are a little bit uphill, most of them are not. It's kind of cool. So I do like that. That's just, I like the variety.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Fabio says, if someone wants to have a glimpse of some of the walks we talked about, there are some videos from the Mountain Safety Council in New Zealand, and they are well made. Yeah, so
Indeed.
Some of the hikes, for
some
example,
of them actually use some of our footage, actually.
Yeah.
No, not those guys. The Nelson Council actually used
yeah.
some of our footage for some of their videos.
So if you go on the Department of Conservation website, which is where like the Department of Conservation is the main organization that maintains and does the basically looks after all the hikes in New Zealand, or most of the hikes in New Zealand, and most of the ones that we've talked about. And on their website, they have track descriptions and all that sort of thing. So it's a good place to just go and also make sure that the tracks are open, because sometimes there might be some damage to the trails and they have to close them. It could be the lambing season and they close them for the lambing season if it goes over farmland. But also on their sort of bigger hikes, like the Mula Hut Track that we talked about on this list, they do have videos from the Mountain Safety Council, which basically tells you what equipment to take, what to wear, when to not go. If it's like forecast for awful weather, then you're probably best not going. So yeah, you'll also see those videos on their website as you just like sort of browsing through which hikes to do.
There you go, what Laura said.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for us this week. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another awesome NZ travel show. Next week, we'll be talking about the best filming locations to visit in New Zealand. And yes, Hobbiton is going to be on there at some point.
Spoiler.
It has to, yeah, big spoiler. And so, yeah. In this week, we also have fun videos coming up where we actually are going to be doing a massive complete travel guide to Fiji. So yeah, here you go. Mary Miller say thanks. Oh, thank you, Mary.
Thanks,
That's awesome
Mary.
to have you on board. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a comment from you. So welcome to the NZ Travel Show, Mary. We're here to answer all your questions if you have any. And she says, I'll be there in July from San Diego. So,
Awesome.
Mary, an hour before. So if you put on your watch, we're here every Sunday and we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. So feel free to join in next week as well. We have plenty of videos, obviously, coming out through the week. But yeah. And yeah, if you want to pick our brain 24/7, you head to nzpocketguide.com. It's New Zealand's largest travel guide. We've done all that. Violet said thank you as well. So yeah, it's awesome. Wow, look at that. Some people actually are like, hey, you guys are gone. I'm going to say thank you. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fabio says Robin Smile on the phase where Laura talks about the lambing season says to me that he just wants to eat some lamb. I think there's more like he just wants to see cute lambs, and it's and it's sad that the tracks are closed during the lambing season because all he wants to do is run around with the lambs.
Spoiler, I do that.
Yeah.
I am an adult. I am a grown ass man. Okay. All right. So what's happening now? Now we have another hour of this show for our Patreon subscribers. So if you don't know what we're doing on Patreon, there is a link in the description of this video for our Patreon stuff. So what's happening on Patreon? What we do, we actually help you plan your trip to New Zealand. So we check your itinerary, we add some notes. You can even enter your itinerary into a spreadsheet where all of our Patreons, you guys can organize meetup and everything. It's a lot of fun. We also have a secret Facebook group where we hang out literally all week long, and so all your questions.
We hang out in secret.
Yes. So it's just for our Patreons. It's just a very small, safe community of people where we share tips and everything, which is a lot of fun. And I'm not a ridiculous wolf, Fabio. Poor little lamb.
And we insult each other on, not even in the secret Facebook group, out live on our live show.
Yes, Fabio is our original Patreon.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we do another 1 hour of this show, which is much more casual. It's much more casual
Candid.
for an hour. Candid. We should call it a candid travel show.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys. See you all next week, and yeah, hopefully, Mary, you'll make it next week, an hour earlier, so like that you're here for the whole show. It'll be a lot of fun to answer all your questions. In the meantime, Mary, Violet, Fabio, that's all of you. Baby Buns.
Matua X was here.
And Matua X. All of you guys, you have a lovely week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you next week. Bye.